Hello everyone, my name is Mysere, and I want to start this out by saying I was lied to. Growing up, I drank milk with everything. Cereal, milk. Dinner, milk. Getting a random snack at 9 p.m., I was probably drinking milk with it. I really thought I was building some kind of lifelong superpower. But then one day, my stomach said, actually, no. So today, we're here to talk about why drinking milk as a kid does not guarantee you'll be fine as an adult, and why that whole idea is kind of a myth. To start out, I'll ask you guys, what is lactase persistence? You don't know? Okay. Lactase persistence is the genetic trait that allows adults to continue producing an enzyme called lactase. Lactase is basically what allows us to drink milk safely. Usually with mammals, their lactase activity slows down after maturing, but those with LP, lactase persistence for short, keep the enzyme mainly due to genetic mutations. One common misunderstanding with LP is that if you drink a lot of milk as a kid, your body will keep producing lactase forever. And a lot of us probably heard something like that growing up. But unfortunately, it's not true. It's just not how it works. Drinking milk does not train your body to keep making lactase. Lactase persistence isn't controlled by how much milk you drink. It's mostly controlled by your genes. So you can grow up drinking milk every day and still become lactose intolerant later in your life.
Wow. So, based on what my friend Mysere said, lactase persistence is largely determined by variations near something called the LCT gene. That gene controls whenever your body keeps producing lactase after childhood. Some people inherit gene variations that keep the lactase enzyme active into adulthood. Others inherit versions that turn lactase production down after they're done breastfeeding. So whenever you can digest milk as an adult, is mostly dependent on your DNA, not just your diet growing up. Lactase persistence evolved thousands of years ago in certain populations that depended heavily on dairy farming. So, for example, in parts of the Northern Europe and some African pastoral communities, milk has become an important food source. People who could digest milk had a nutritional advantage, especially during food shortages. So, over generations, natural selection made lactase persistent more common in those populations. It's actually one of the most clearest examples of human evolution that is linked to practices like farming. Well, linked to cultural practices like farming.
Even though genetics play a big part in lactase persistence, environmental factors also influence how dairy is processed and can affect someone. For example, the bacteria in your gut can help break down small amounts of lactose, which is why some lactose intolerant people can tolerate yogurt and cheese. Also, how dairy processed matters is fermented products like yogurt contains less lactose because bacteria partially breaks it down already. So while drinking milk doesn't change your genes, different foods in your gut's health can affect how your body reacts to it. Lactose persistence rates are different around the world. In Northern Europe's populations, a higher percentage of adults can digest lactose, but in many Asia populations and indigenous American populations, most adults are lactose intolerant. That means globally, lactose intolerance is normal. And in the United States, milk is heavily promoted in schools and media, which makes it seem like everyone should be able to drink milk when they're not able to. So biologically, it's not true for most of the world.
Here's something interesting. About 65% of the world's population is lactose intolerant to some degree after childhood. So technically, lactose intolerance is more common than being lactase persistent. Also, lactase persistence is a relatively recent trait. It only became common within the last 5,000 to 10,000 years. That's a short time in human history. Shows how quickly human genetics can adapt to cultural changes like dairy farming. So to summarize what we went over here and our key points we want to correct, first off, drinking milk as a kid does not guarantee you will be able to digest it properly as an adult. Second, lactase persistence is primarily genetic. Third, lactose intolerance is normal worldwide. And finally, cultural habits around don't change your DNA. They just influence what's common in your environment. I hope that we helped clarify some misconceptions and helped you understand lactose intolerance better.